If you want to attract wealth and abundance, you might have heard stories about people who were born really poor, who were really struggling, their families were really struggling when they were younger, but they made it out and they did this really triumphant thing and they became really wealthy. And you might hear those stories and think that that is the norm, but in fact, statistically, most people don't break out of their circumstances that they were born into. If you were born into a neighborhood that wasn't doing well, it's actually statistically extremely difficult for you to be able to break out of that. And the reason is because your environment is so important. So think about your upbringing and think about the things that you had growing up. And some of you watching, you might be like, well, I grew up poor, I didn't have anything. But really think about it, because there are people out there whose parents really put them in a bad negative situation. Maybe their parents would really mislead them financially, tell them to open up credit cards and rack up debts, when they were 18 years old. Or sometimes family members, I've heard stories where people will open up credit cards in their children's name and then rack up a ton of debt, and their kids don't even find out about it until later on. And then it's this crazy thing where they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much debt and I didn't even do any of that. So the environment that you were born into is actually very important. It actually does have a huge effect on you. I'm not saying it's not possible to break out of any kinds of habits or any kinds of circumstances, but statistically it is very, very difficult, because if you were born into such a negative environment, you can imagine the opportunities that you had were very, very limited compared to someone who was born into a more standard, a more normal situation where they were given the things that they needed, where their parents didn't take advantage of them. And it really shows you how important and how impactful your environment is. So if you're trying to change your life, if you want to change your reality, if you want to have immense wealth and abundance, breaking out of your environment is one of the most critical things that you can do. And you've probably heard the idea that the 5 people you spend the most time with, where they'll end up in 10 years, is likely very similar to where you'll end up in 5 years. And this is why people say pick your friends wisely. It's so important to be very selective with the people that you surround yourself with. I'm not saying don't be friends with people if they, don't have as much money as you, but I'm saying make sure that your values and the things that you're trying to accomplish really align. It doesn't have to be like so nominal. It doesn't have to be like about a figure. But if all of your friends are sort of ambitious people, if they're always kind of trying to better themselves, and those values align well with your values and your personal goals, then that's a good match. Those are the kind of people that you want to be around. And it's not just about finances. There are a lot of other values that you should consider. If they're constantly partying, if they're very negative people, and those values don't align with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish with your life, then it might be a good idea to take a step back. I'm not saying to, cut them off, but it would be a good idea to spend more time with the people whose values do align with your own. And again, it's not always about money. So for me, I always admire people who are super kind and who are just very positive and pleasant to be around. People who are very nice, essentially. I really admire that in people who have a lot of patience for others. I find that to be a very attractive trait, and it's something that I want to emulate. It's something I want to be more like. So I always seek out those people and I want to spend more time with them, people who are uplifting and positive, because really it rubs off on you. Whereas on the other hand, if you hang out with people who are negative and likes to complain a lot, it's definitely gonna rub off on you. We're such social creatures, so be very careful and selective about the kind of energies and the kind of vibrations you surround yourself with. It will definitely rub off on you. The next one is write down your goals. Write down what you want to achieve. If you want wealth, if you want abundance, there's a number that you have in mind. Write it down, add a 0, think bigger, expand on the things that you want, and be honest with yourself. I don't know if you've ever done this where you kind of told yourself that you're a simple person and you don't need a lot. I am guilty of this. I used to say that all the time. I think I always knew deep down that I wanted more and I wanted a lot more. So if you feel this way as well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think it's a good sign. It kind of lets you know that you feel deep down you were kind of destined for more, which sounds like a weird thing to think or even say out loud, but it's this like faith in yourself. It's this deep belief that you have in yourself. You are meant for more. If you really think that, if you really believe that, try to adopt this like mindset. If you don't believe it, write it down, say it to yourself. Say it to yourself before you go to bed. Say it to yourself when you first wake up in the morning. Journal on it. Do whatever you need to do. Say it to yourself when you look in the mirror. If you can adopt this mindset, this kind of belief, you can get yourself to believe in it. And you can easily, with repetition, you can get yourself to believe anything. You're really getting yourself to believe in yourself and have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in yourself. And when you have that faith in yourself, when you believe in yourself in this way, you're going to start to see drastic changes come in. And it's going to feel like these changes are coming in so quickly and you don't even really understand why or how it's happening. But when you believe in yourself, you act and behave and you think in a very different way than you did when you didn't really believe in yourself, when you didn't think you were meant for more, when you didn't think you deserved better. If you kind of settle into that mindset where you're okay with like being mediocre, you're okay with being average, and there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely not. But when you're settled into that mindset, again, you think and behave in a very different way and you act very different. All of your actions and all of the thoughts that you have just leads you back to that, just leads you back to the same old average things that you've always had. But when you change that belief, when you change that mindset, and you adopt one of, hey, I'm better than this. Not that you're better than people, but hey, I deserve better. Hey, I was meant for more. I was meant for great things. Again, you're going to think and behave and act in different ways. You're going to find inspiration. When you need to work a little bit harder, it's not going to be like this huge dreaded chore. You're going to be like, yeah, no, I am so capable because I was meant for more. I can do this. I can take on new challenges. I'm always ready for new challenges. I welcome the opportunity for growth. And that growing pain that we all kind of dread, you know, when you're in a workout class and it feels uncomfortable, the burn is really hitting you, and we all kind of shy away from it. We want to give up and quit and take a break. And then the fitness instructors say, you know, feel that pain, feel that burn, welcome it, welcome that challenge, welcome that discomfort, and allow yourself to grow. That's exactly what happens when you change your mindset and you adopt this new one of believing in yourself. The other way to change your environment is physically. So if you're home all the time, if you're at work all the time, you're just kind of sitting at your desk all day and it's not the best, maybe it's a little stuffy, maybe you get a little bit stressed out staring at a screen all day, try and break that up a little bit. Try and go for a walk outdoor. Maybe you schedule like a coffee meeting, a meeting where you can meet somewhere that just takes you out of the office, kind of takes you out of your routine. If you're a crazy homebody, maybe schedule a day where you go to the beach or the park. Taking yourself out of the environments that you're always in is a really good way to like refresh your energy. It's a good way to kind of uplift you and add a little bit more positivity into your life. It'll help raise your vibrations. It will help get you to new inspiring ideas. When you're in the same environment over and over again, when you're in the same physical space over and over again, it's more of that same old feelings and vibrations. But when you kind of break out of that, you're inviting new energies to come in, you're inviting new ideas to come in, and that will help you spark the changes that you need to get from where you are to where you want to be. Okay, that's it for today's little video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with someone who might also find it to be impactful, and I will see you next time. Bye!